perspective, what are you seeing? What's happening?
I think this team is full of guys that are me second. There's a lot of unselfish guys on this team, and of course everyone wants a bunch of catches, but that's not what's important. It's important to put the team first, to do everything you can to help the team win. So I got all the trust in the world in our play callers, and there might be games where I get 10 plus targets. There might be games when I get 0, but I think we got a bunch of guys that put the team first and do what they can to help the team win. So, I'll make plays when the ball comes to me, but I think it's all about just putting the team above yourself. And for now, it's been a lot of work in the run game, and I've been able to work on the blocking stuff. But you never know. It changes week to week, so we'll see.
Is it frustrating, though, because you've been a pass-catching tight end in the past here. You've got 49 catches a couple times. Is it frustrating to run pass patterns and not get the ball thrown to you?
I mean, yeah, in a way. Like, selfishly, everybody would want a bunch of targets in a game. But, again, I think this team is so good because we have guys that truly care about the team more than they care about themselves. But as everyone knows, like, the season changes as games go by, as weeks go by. We make adjustments. We start doing different stuff with the offense. So, again, like I said, we got supreme trust in Joe and our play callers and Josh, and we're going to do whatever it takes on any given Sunday to win the game.
And Dawson, I mean, when you guys start 3-0, and everybody eats and the stats don't matter, right? Because everybody's winning and everybody's happy. But can you see the change there when you lose the last couple of games? The offense isn't performing the way that you'd want it to perform. How the storyline sort of shifts there when you look at individual numbers across the board.
Yeah, I mean, I think storyline shift almost every week. That's just the nature of this business. But as soon as teams start overreacting and trying to find too much that's wrong or change too much in any given week, we get distracted from what makes us us. So we got to stick to what we know to be the truth, stick to what we do best, and make some minor adjustments throughout the week. But, I mean, we talked about, like, if we started 0-2 and then won 3 straight, we'd be sitting with the same record but feeling a lot different. So we're not going to overreact. We're leading the division. We're just going to take this one game at a time, correct some stuff. We talked about the definition of insanity is continue doing the same thing, expecting different results. So there are going to be some minor tweaks, but no one's overreacting. We're not in crisis mode or anything like that.
Go ahead.
There's some data set shows that teams are playing you guys a little bit more man-to-man. From us on the outside, we can try and do that, but you're watching it. Do you feel like teams are playing you guys a little bit more man-to-man right now?
Yeah, we felt a little bit of that. And again, that's something that our coaches will be great at scheming up and getting some different type of route combinations involved. But again, it's taking things one day at a time. It's that age-old cliche of just focusing on us, focusing on today. What can I do today to get better? And we're just going to prepare for one game at a time and not overreact like a lot of people might be.
Dawson, playing against the Jets, obviously, with Robert Saleh getting fired, interim head coach for the first time, what is it, obviously you've been with the Bills and Sean McDermott your entire career, but what is it about teams that kind of almost seem more fired up to play for an interim coach, and kind of what challenges does that pose playing against, a head coach you didn't know you were going to be playing against a week ago?
Yeah, I mean, thankfully we've never had to deal with that, or I've never had to deal with that. But I think there always seems to be a slightly extra motivated team. We kind of got a taste of that with the Chargers last year. But again, there's a little mystery to it too. Like, you don't know what to expect in terms of if their scheme's going to change much. But kind of going back to what I said earlier, it's going to be a lot of just focusing on us, doing what we do well, and not getting too caught up in what we might see on Sunday from them.
You talk about not panicking.
Monday, sorry. Yeah.
About not panicking. What's the message from all the different veterans in this locker room to the younger guys, the Keons, the rookies, who haven't been through this, who might look at 2 losses in a row as a problem? You guys understand that it's not. But, how do you impress upon them that message?
Yeah, as soon as you start looking too far ahead in the season, you miss what's important for today. You miss things you can get better at today. You miss important steps you can take as a player and for this team if you start looking forward to, what's the playoff picture going to look like, or, what if we don't win? So I think it's important to stay grounded, stay where your feet are. I mean, last year, weren't we 6-6 and ended up with a 2 seed? So I think it's important for these young guys to lean on some of the great leaders that we have on this team and kind of understand that this league's crazy. Any given weekend, there's teams beating teams that no one expected. But just to stay grounded and don't get too far ahead because you'll miss the important stuff.
Dawson, last year when Dalton was drafted, I think the expectation was that 12 personnel was going to be a big part of what you guys did because of the versatility that it could provide for the offense. I know you dealt with some injuries last year, Dalton maybe a little bit as well, but just how would you kind of assess where that is, 5 games into his second year in terms of you guys being on the field together?
Yeah, we've gotten a little bit of a taste of what that looks like. I'm not sure if that's going to change or not, but I think it's awesome being out there with him. He's such an incredible weapon. And I mean, we got supreme trust in Joe calling up the right plays to get us in the position to win games, and that hasn't changed just because we've lost a game or two, and that's not going to change. We love Joe. That open line of communication he has with us is great. He asks us what we like, what we don't like, so we'll just continue to evaluate it. I'd love to get 12 personnel going because I know that it's fun playing with him. We can bring us in the box, run the ball, spread us out, get some good matchups. But we'll just see. It's just going to be a week-to-week thing.
You kind of answered my follow-up there, but is it something that you think maybe if you do more of could provide a spark?
I don't get paid to know that. I'm just out there trying to do my job. And, again, I think that's a unique part about this team. We got a lot of guys that put the we above the me. So, of course, selfishly, I'd want to get out there in some 12 personnel, but that's not what's important. It's important putting this team in positions to win games, and we got all the trust in the world in Joe.
Dawson, it's probably not a surprise that Josh has put the blame on himself for the lack of production over especially last week. But is it fair for him to put all the blame, to take the blame for the lack of production?
Yeah, no, offense? Absolutely not. I mean, he's got the weight of the whole city on his back, and he takes the losses very harshly, and he does try to shoulder that weight, but it's on all of us. I mean, there's plays I wish I had back blocking wise. There's routes I could have run better. I guarantee you everybody on this team would say there's stuff they regret or stuff they wish they could do better in hindsight, but it's never just on one person. But that's what makes him such a great leader. He does take responsibility for losses, but it's definitely not just on him.
How would you describe why the Jets have been such a headache?
Say it again.
How would you describe why the Jets have been such a headache, especially defensively?
Oh, they got a great team. They're always coached well, talent across the board on defense. They play fast, physical. It's always a good opportunity and good challenge for us when we face them. So, I mean, I don't think it's just the coaching or just the players. It's a good combination of both.